Hi everyone, it's Emma from MSC Makes, and in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to join granny squares using the continuous join as you go method. So I've got some of my granny squares here that I'm going to be joining. I've worked 2 rounds, and what I'm going to do as I add the final round to these squares, I'm going to join them all together. And the benefit of joining them in this way means you've got less ends to sew. You'll just have the end from the beginning and the one from when you finish off the work. So I'm using some 4-ply yarn and a 3.5mm hook, but you can use whatever yarn and hook size that you like, just to make sure that the hook size is appropriate for the yarn. I think the most complicated thing that people struggle to understand with the continuous join as you go method is the direction that you have to join them in. So I have drawn a little diagram to demonstrate. Let me just move you out a little bit and I'll just pop these on. So as I say, we're going to join these as we work the final round. And we're basically going to start here, and you'll work across, down. This will all become clearer as I do it, and we'll go in this direction around. When we get to the bottom of this first row, we'll go all the way back along, and then we'll start and do exactly the same thing for the next row. And I'm going to join all 9 squares here so that I can demonstrate to you. And when we get to the very end, we'll, instead of adding another row, we'll just work our way all up the side. But I promise it will all become much clearer as I demonstrate the joining. So to begin, we'll take our first square here. I'll just move these out of the way, and I'll bring you down a little bit closer again so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to join my yarn using a standing stitch. Now don't forget that I am based in the UK, and therefore I use UK crochet terminology. So I'm going to be working UK treble crochets for this. If you're in America or you use US terms, you'll know this as a double crochet. I'll pop all of that information down in the description box below. So to begin, we need to attach our yarn, and I'm going to do that by working a slip knot and popping that on my hook ready. And we're going to join our yarn to this top corner here. I'm going to do that by working a standing stitch, but you can do that however you prefer. I do have a tutorial that explains how to work standing stitches, which I'll pop on screen for you now. So to do that, we're going to yarn over as if we're going to work a treble crochet or a US double crochet. And we're just going to pop our hook through this top right hand corner, grab that yarn and pull it through, yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2 more. And we're going to do that 2 more times. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, and once more, yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So we've got our first set of treble crochets here, and we're going to do that all the way across, just as if we were working another round to our granny square. So I'm going to do 3 more in this next space, and again another 3 trebles in this last corner space here. We're going to chain 2, which brings us around the corner, and then we're just going to do the same along this side here. So 3 treble crochets into that exact same space as you did the last set, so that creates your corner, and 3 more into the next space, and 3 more into this last space here. And that completes all we need to do on this first square, because now what we're going to do is start joining the other squares. So if I just quickly show you this diagram again. So we've worked along here and down there. And now we need to start working along the next square. So I'm just going to take that ready and pop that back on my hook there. So in order to do that, I'm going to yarn over ready and pick up this square here, and we're just going to work 3 more trebles into the bottom corner space of the next square. So if I hold them like this, so we've worked along here, now we're going to work back up this side here. So we're going to yarn over and work 3 trebles into this bottom corner space here. Remember, if you use US terms, you'll know that as a double. Okay, so we've worked our first set. Now what we need to do is anchor them together to join them. So with the yarn on our hook, what we're going to do is pop our hook through this first space here on the first square. We're going to grab that yarn and we're going to pull it through to make a slip stitch, and that has anchored the 2 sets together. We now need to work our next set of trebles into the next space along, and once we've done that, we need to do exactly the same thing as before, and we need to anchor the stitches together. So we're going to pop our hook through the next space, grab that yarn and pull it through to create a slip stitch, and we can see now how that's starting to be joined together. So I've got 1 more set here. This is the corner one, so this is going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to work 3 treble crochets, I'm going to chain 1 this time because we're at the corner, pop my hook through that corner space, grab that yarn and pull through, and chain 1 more, and that just brings us around the corner, and that has joined those first 2 squares. So now what we need to do, if we look at this again, we need to continue working along the top and down the side of this square. So I'm going to quickly do that by working my sets of 3 treble crochets into each space, and I'm going to do that all the way along until I get to this bottom left corner here, and then I'll show you how to join the next square. So I've now worked my way around, and you can see that our first 2 squares are joined really nicely there. And now what we need to do, we're ready to join this square here, and we're just doing exactly the same thing as before. We're going to join in this bottom right hand corner here and work our way up, attaching it to this side as we go, and then back along and down. So I'll show you how to do that. So with the yarn on our hook, we're going to yarn over and go straight into working our set of 3 treble crochets into that bottom corner there. And once we've done our 3, we need to anchor them together. It can get a little bit fiddly, but it's easier if you hold it on your knee or something like that. We're going to pop our hook through this space here, grab that yarn and pull it through to create a slip stitch, and try not to pull too tightly because it will make it just a bit tricky to pull that yarn through there. Now we need to work another 3 trebles into the next space. We're going to anchor them together again by working a slip stitch into this next space here on the square that we did before this one. And now we're at our last set of trebles, which also happens to be the corner space. So we're going to work our 3 trebles into there. Remember, as this is the corner, before we do our slip stitch to join, we want to chain 1. We're going to pop our hook through there, grab the yarn and pull it through and chain one again, and it just gives that a little bit more room just for that corner there. And now we just need to continue working our way along the top and down the side, and then I'm going to show you what to do to finish off this row. So I'm going to go ahead now and continue to do that, and then I'll come back and show you what to do next. My 3 squares are all joined together now, and if we have a little look at the diagram for the beginning, you can see what we've done. So we've worked along here like so, and down here. If you had more squares to add, obviously this is just a small example for this for the tutorial, you would just continue adding squares in exactly the same way by joining to the bottom right hand corner, working your way up and joining to the previous square, and then back along and down. But because I have now finished my row, it's really simple. All we need to do is work all the way along the bottom, ready to add the next row underneath. So I've just finished working my last set of 3 trebles. Obviously this is a corner, so we need to chain 2, and we're going to work another 3 trebles into that same space there. We're going to work 3 more into the next space along. And we've now reached the corner space. We only have to work 3 trebles for the corner because we've already done half of it here when we came up the side there. So I'm going to work 3 trebles. And then what I'm going to do is chain 2 there. And if I give these a bit of a pull apart, you can see there's a space there in between, and that is where I'm going to slip stitch, okay? Like so. And that has formed our corner. So for this next corner here again, we're going to chain 2, and we need to work 3 treble crochets into this next space along. We're going to do 3 more into this middle one here. And we're going to complete the corner by working another 3 treble crochets. But to finish it off, we need to chain 2 and slip stitch in between these 2 squares here, which will anchors it together. We'll chain 2 again and then work the next corner, and we're almost back to the beginning of the row now, and then I will show you what we have to do next. After you've finished joining, after you've finished working along the bottom there, that completes the first row. So yours should be beginning to look like this if you've done it correctly. All the sides should be filled in with that final round, except for this last one here, because we're going to finish that off right at the end. So if I bring this along again, you can see we've done this section here. We've just worked our way back along, and now we need to begin by joining the next row. So this time we're going to join the next square in the top right hand corner here. We're going to work across the top and then down the side, and then we're just going to continue in exactly the same way as we did before. So I'm going to show you what to do with this square now. So with the yarn on your hook, we're going to go straight into working 3 treble crochets into this top right hand corner. And it's exactly the same principle. After doing each set of 3 trebles, we just need to anchor it together with a slip stitch. This one's going to be a little bit different. Oops, I've got a bit taffly. Let me just pop it back down again. Okay, so I've just worked my 3 trebles here. To anchor it together, we need to slip stitch into this space here. So we're going to pop our hook through, grab that yarn, and pull it through to make a slip stitch, and that's our first set anchored together, and then it'll start to get a bit easier after that. It won't get as twisted. So we're just going to continue and work our sets of 3 trebles into each space along, and after we've done each set, we're going to join with a slip stitch into the corresponding space from the square below. So we've got one more to do now, and remember this one counts as a corner space. So we're going to do 3 trebles. We're going to chain 1 because this is a corner, and I'm going to join it. This can look a bit tricky about where exactly to join. I'm going to go into this same space here between these 2 sets of trebles like I did before, and grab that and pull it through to make a slip stitch, and then chain 1, and that brings us back round for the corner. So that's our first part joined together. Now we're going to work our way back down this side of the square, and there's nothing there to join it to at the moment, so you can go ahead and work your trebles all along the side, and then I'll come back and I'll show you what to do next. So I've just worked my way down there now, and now we're going to proceed in exactly the same way as we did for this row. So we're going to pick this square up in the bottom right hand corner here. We're going to work our way up this side and join it exactly as we did before. The only difference is we now need to join it along the top as well. So I'm going to show you how to do that just with this one square, and then I'll leave you to work the rest of the row, and I'll show you how to do the bottom part again. So yarn over and work your 3 trebles into that bottom right hand space like so, and then we need to attach that together. I'm just going to pop it down again because it was all getting a bit twisted. Okay, so now we need to anchor it together. I'm going to pop my hook into this corresponding space here and grab that yarn and pull it through to create a slip stitch, and then I'm just going to continue working my way up that side, and just like before, after each set of 3 trebles we're just going to slip stitch the squares together. So I'm at the corner now. After we've done our 3 trebles for the corner, we're going to chain 1 this time, and then I'm going to put my hook through again this same space at the top here, grab that yarn and pull it through to create a slip stitch. I'm going to chain 1 again, and then I'm going to finish off that corner by working another 3 treble crochets. This time along the top, because we've already got that row above us, we need to start anchoring these together. So to do that, I'm going to put my hook through this space at the top here, grab that yarn and pull it through. We've got our middle set. I'm going to work 3 trebles, pop our hook in this corresponding space, grab the yarn and pull it through, and now we're at the corner space. So after we've worked our 3 trebles for the corner, remember we want to chain 1 before inserting our hook in between these sets of trebles here from the row above, work a slip stitch just like before, and then chain 1 again. So all you need to do now is continue working this square. So we're going to work our way down here again. We'll pick up our next square, join it at the bottom right, and you're going to work around this square, and as you do, each set of 3 trebles, you're going to anchor them together by working a slip stitch into the corresponding space. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and I'm going to work my way down to the bottom here, and then I'm just going to quickly remind you how to work along the bottom again. Once you've worked your way to the end of the row, your granny squares should be starting to look like this. They're all joined together, and now we're at the easy peasy part again, where we just need to work our way all along the bottom. So I'm going to quickly demonstrate what to do when you come to this corner part again, and then I'm going to leave you to complete the rest of your squares, and then I'm going to show you how to finish off at the end. So I've just done my last set of trebles on this bottom corner here. So because it's a corner, we need to chain 2 to bring us back round, and we'll finish off by working 3 more trebles into that same space, 3 into the next one, and then we're now at the corner here. We've already done half of our corner when we joined the first side, so we just need to do 3 trebles. We're going to chain 2 when we've done that, and then join with a slip stitch by going in between these 2 sets here. Chain 2 again, and then we're going to finish off the corner of this square by working 3 treble crochets. So you can see now that that corner is done. So I'm going to leave you now to continue adding squares. So remember, you're working your way all along the bottom. Once you get to this point here, you pick up the next square at the top right hand corner, just like we did here. Work our way along the top and down, and then add the squares exactly as we have done before working along the bottom again. I'm going to go ahead and do that with my squares now, and then I'm going to show you how to finish off just by working this last side, but it's really very easy. All 9 of my squares are now joined together. I've just finished working this final row here, and I've just gone right along the bottom. Now obviously if you were making a blanket, like a bigger blanket, you would just continue adding rows and squares in exactly the same way. Once you've worked all of your rows, you'll end up with your yarn, your working yarn in the bottom right hand corner here. And all we need to do now is work our way along this side here to finish off this very end row, and we'll be ending exactly where we started. And this is just the same method as we've used previously to work along the bottom. So we're going to chain 2, finish off that corner, and then work right along the bottom exactly the same way as we have been doing before. So you go ahead and do that, and I'll show you how to finish off the rest, the end of the squares. I'm right at the end now. I've just got this final set of trebles to work in the corner space. So we're just going to work our 3 trebles, and then in order to finish that off, we're going to chain 2. And we're going to join it with a slip stitch into that very first standing stitch that we worked at the beginning, like so. And that is how you work the join as you go technique, or the continuous join as you go technique. So as you can see, we've joined all of these lovely squares, and the best part is we've only got 2 ends. So to finish this off, you would just snip this end here and pull it through, and then just sew in those ends, and that's it. So I hope you found that tutorial helpful. I would be really grateful if you would like and subscribe if so, and I'll see you again soon. Take care everyone, bye.